What's up guys, this is Brandon with DadRod Garage. In this video we go over Jake's 2019 S550 Mustang. We're going to be doing more videos like this highlighting Dad's rides mild to wild, hot rods and the stories of them and how the cars came to be. Hope you enjoy.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Jacob Smith, and
Do you have any cool cars growing up?
no. So I kind of, I was always into cars. My dad would always show me cool pictures of the cars that he used to drive in high school and college. So I always told him like, yeah, I want to have a cool car when I grow up, and never got the chance. I think I drove my dad's El Camino once in high school and thought I was cool. He had an 86 El Camino. And as I graduated from college and started working full time, then I had a little bit more money. I think I bought my first Camaro. I was a Chevy guy at the time. And it was a four-cylinder turbo. Thought I was cool, going around revving it. I wound up popping the motor.
What was it?
I had a four-cylinder turbo Camaro, like a 2017 when they came out with the
I remember that.
body style.
Oh, that's right.
It was a little bit dark. It was almost very similar to this color.
I was in Florida at the time, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think I ever saw that car in person.
You were in Florida. Drew was in Alaska. And I had the car for about a year, not even a year. And that's when I first started messing with, cold air intakes, tunes. I think
Stickers
I plastied
equal 5 horsepower.
Yeah, I plastied it my wheels black. I started doing, work on my car.
Oh my gosh, plastic.
It didn't work out great. And then I wound up blowing up cylinder 1, and the head was just trash. I was actually on 2 and 231. I was getting ready to go home, and I went to pass a car, and I just felt something weird. Stability control came on and went off the road, and that was my first experience of like blowing a motor in a car. After that, I went to Ford, and I had bought one of my girlfriends at the time, helped her buy a car. And that's when I got introduced to the Mustang. So I bought my first 2017 Mustang when I was working at Belcher's in DeMont.
Okay.
And then that kind of got me into the Coyote world. That was a Gen 2.
So this isn't your first Mustang?
No. When the 10 speeds came out in 2018, I wanted to trade it in, but they weren't really giving me a good deal on the car. And I think in 2019, a year later, is when I got this in about wintertime, put it right in the garage.
So what is this one?
So this is a Gen 3. This is a 2019. I had to have the 10-speed trans. Everyone was talking about them, for racing or roll racing on the highway, drag racing. I had the 315 rear gears, 10-speed. I think 7th is 1-to-1. And just the torque that they were producing, and people are pushing these right away to like 800-900 wheel. All day long, stock motor, stock trans, stock converter, and it was taking multiple passes to blow them up. So I'm like, I got to get that car. And so I just slowly started modding it. I did all the suspension first. I kind of had it as a road race car, believe it or not. Thought I wanted to do all the turns fast and have it, a street car that I can still drive and not worry about changing drag radials out and having a drag pack in the car. I used to have.
So for the exterior, you did the hood. Now is this an aftermarket hood, or
yeah,
just louvers that you added to the stock?
No,
hood?
this is the aftermarket hood.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff in the car is MP Concepts, like the front splitter, the side skirts, the rear wing. I think is even
okay.
It's all MP Concepts brands. I think they're based out of Australia.
Yeah, obviously it's not a stock Coyote anymore.
No, so the little backstory about the blower is I'd actually ordered the new Gen 5 Whipples at the time had just came out.
Okay.
And I had a chance to get one, and there wasn't really a lead time on it. They told me like 3 or 4 weeks. I'm like, cool. So I ordered the Whipple. 8 weeks went by, didn't hear nothing. So I'm like, So I gave them a call. They didn't even have my blower started. My appointment was in a couple weeks. So I was like, shoot, I'd already put down a deposit. They were like, hey, this happens all the time. We'll work with you. Just let us know when it comes in.
Yeah.
Well, I called them back the next day, and I'd bought the blower from Beefcake Racing in Ohio, and he was just going to ship it to Brent Speed when he got it.
Mm-hmm.
and he goes, "Hey man, I'm sorry." He even talked to the owner, Whipple. They're like, "It'll be like 10 more weeks." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the whole summer." So I didn't want to waste my whole summer and have the car down, waiting. So he overnighted me in Edelbrock at the time, and I didn't know much about it. I know Evolution Performance had the Edelbrock in their car, and they ran 840s. They broke the world record for the Gen 3 car, like in the first month of the blower coming out.
Okay.
So they're the first ones to kind of really put that blower to the test. I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, it's a good blower. It's great. IATs are cool, So I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go with it. So they sent it to Burn Speed. I was able to keep my appointment. They put it on the car. No, they finished it on Saturday. And they're like, hey, we always make a video of our car. We highly recommend you keep it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, nah. And Brett was gone for a whole week. So
Yeah.
I picked it up Monday.
I want to cruise.
So I picked it up Monday and drove it home. My same buddy took me there, and I drove it home.
And then what pulley size was that?
So I got the Stage 2 50 state kit. It came with the 8 rib. I did the 8 rib upgrade, upper 3.5 pulley. They're like, hey, you need a fuel system on the car. You can't run 93 on that pulley unless there's like no timing. Well, I found out Edelbrock it was like 10 or 12 degrees of timing. So you had 14 pounds of boost, but no timing. You could rip on the car all day long. You felt that instant torque, instant power, but then it kind of flatlined out.
Yeah.
And
a little bit of a band-aid.
Yeah, they were shifting at like 6,500 RPM, so you're never getting up in the RPM. You're not spinning the blower hard.
Yeah.
And I started realizing, okay, so I thought, and at the time, I thought the car was fast, like fastest car I've ever run.
Of course.
Yeah. So I'm like, this is sweet. And then I got it tuned, and I fought with drivability issues. The car wanted to take off. You touched very touchy throttle. Wound up being the throttle body. Was saying it was half open and it was like closed.
Did you ever race that setup?
No.
Okay, so
I just
that setup hadn't been at the track.
never went to the track. I don't even think I went to the Indy thing with it yet. No.
So streetcar takeover.
No streetcar takeover. I wasn't even. I was just getting into the car community, meeting people. That's when I met a lot of my friends. I was mostly going to car meets, and then a lot of the time I was, spending on working on the car. I mean, I completely upgraded everything. So every bolt-on part you can put on the car, I did. I swapped to. Nothing changed. I just dealt with the drivability. I mean, my wife could attest. I'd get on the highway, I'd give it some gas, and the car would just want to take off. And if you didn't give it the throttle, it would kind of like, you'd feel a jerk, and it would like fall on its bad surging.
Really?
And then I went to Juggernaut Performance, who tunes the car now, and the first tune on the car, dude, it felt like it was like a click. I'm like, this is awesome. Like it felt like my factory car when I bought it from Ford.
Yeah.
Once I got Juggernauts tuned, that's when I started like enjoying the car more. I almost was going to sell the car because I'm like, this is not fun. I didn't want to spend the money on a new tuner.
Sounds like it was a headache.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Moral of the story: have a good tuner.
Tune your own car,
or learn how to tune it yourself. Yeah.
Learn to tune. Yep. That way you have more control.
The thing about these cars versus LS guys.
To be fair, the 10-speed's got to be a pain in the butt to tune.
So when was the first time you went to the track, and what got that bug started?
This is before I started going with you guys.
Streetcar Brawl.
Went to the Brawl down at 41.
Yep.
I didn't have skinnies or nothing.
That's literally like the worst surface.
Yes, it
like
is.
Everyone does.
One of the worst surfaces in the country.
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
I had my beadlock drag pack with the radials on it. I had a big wide tire in the front.
Oh, you're still set up for road racing then?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, this car's not going to do good in drag racing. Well, then I went to the NKE event.
Okay.
It was the one before I went with you guys.
Okay.
I think it was
that
the fall.
was spring of 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spring of
we
23
went
then.
fall of 20.
Correct.
Yes. Yep. So it was in the spring,
Yeah.
and I went there, and my buddy David Phillips came with me. So everybody was dead hooking. Like
Okay. Because it was a track side, no prep.
Yep, front
right?
side, no
Or
prep.
front side, yeah.
MKE. They actually did not scrape the prep, and they had testing the night before, so all that rubber was still there.
Okay.
It's sticky.
So it was,
My
actually,
shoes
it was good.
So that helped me out a lot, and I entered the daily class. Come to find out, Ryan Peterson is like one of the fastest. He just ran his Corvette at Worlds. He's got his ZR1 there, banger car in the daily class with nitrous. It's ported heads, ported blower, big cam.
It's done up.
telling me, you know, oh, factory interior, yeah, I know, you got 2 big bottles in the back. And I was very irritated because I wound up winning my first 2 races. I beat a Hellcat, and then I beat another Mustang with I beat a Camaro with a Paxton on it. Barely, like, they got me off the line, and I nicked them at the end because I was going about 15 mile an hour in the quarter faster than them.
Okay.
But I was passing them right at the end.
Yeah.
So I had all that back end power.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I was excited. I'm like, this, you know.
Heck yeah. I'm still yet to get out of round 1.
Well, I can attest this car got legs.
Yeah.
It's got back half legs for sure.
And I think I was trapping like 140 mile an hour, and they were doing like 125, 130, 132. Okay. And then I raced Ryan in the finals. And I was going to just wing it and just go for it. And he's like, do you want to split the pot? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, well, do you think you can beat me? I'm like, I know I can't beat you, but there's always that chance. So we agreed to split the pot. Okay. We can both make some money. That's always fun. I still feel he pedaled me hard, but I still feel he had the nitrous hooked up because that car, I put 5 cars on him, and he came and got me at the very end.
I can attest.
That was a good race.
Manual Corvettes, man, they trap.
Yeah.
They trap.
Yeah, that car was getting squirrely at the 8th, and he told me prior that it was a, you know, high 7, low 8 car. I'm like, yeah, you're 2 seconds faster than me.
Yeah, right.
And that is a big difference.
So you guys are in the finals.
So I barely lost to him.
Yeah. And it's a daily.
We both won some money, and I was like, man, I've never raced the car before. I have all the wrong suspension on it. I didn't have a skinny front tire, no ice tank, none of that.
Yeah.
But you had a ball.
Yes, I had fun. I met a cool guy that the guy that owned the Hellcat in the first round. Found out he was hustling people. He told everybody it was a stock Hellcat, nothing done to it.
That's normal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's drag racing.
Had an inner chiller on it. It was on E85, smaller, bigger lower, smaller upper, all that good stuff. But yeah, I met some cool people and I had some fun. And then I kind of started. Like, okay, cool. I'm going to kind of switch the car into drag racing. Well, I had to completely change everything on the car underneath.
The addiction
had started. The drag race suspension, E85.
Yep. So now all the suspension is updated?
Yeah, so as the car sits right now, I put on my 9-inch stroke coilovers in the front. Wow. So the car should be able to...
That's going to help. Because now, what's your PB right now?
So...
Without that suspension.
After that event, I went with these guys to did I go with you to the Brawl before the MKE?
Yeah.
Went to the Brawl again, did terrible. Went to the MKE event. I snuck out a first round.
Woo! Jake's on to round 2.
Wound up losing to that same Hellcat. He came back with a Whipple blower on it.
Yeah. I remember that car.
I spun. He didn't. He won. After that,
we were in the same class.
Yes.
I broke an axle.
Yeah. Mark broke an axle. I remember I was riding the scooter and the battery died, and I was kicking all the way back there and helping him get the car. They had already started
that's right.
For no prep, I could have the front all the way loose, and I can lift the front end 9 inches. And hopefully squat nice.
That's a bunch of travel.
That should help this season for sure.
As the car sits, I put them on myself, changed out my rear springs. I already had the adjustable shocks to match the struts from Kelly Aiken from Keltrack. He's kind of the S550 guru. He's does it all, tests stuff, builds stuff. He's always got new stuff coming out. So I love him, support him. Draggy says I ran a 980 at 145. The tracks I ran, I snuck in a 979. So I was like, sweet, I ran, better than I thought. I thought I had never gotten under a 9 when I ran the MKE. I had like 1030. So I'm like, cool, I just want my 9. And I
finally got your 9.
Yeah, and I didn't spin, but I felt bad, almost like a wheel hop or tire shake. Okay. It could have been that I had the tires, too underinflated. I had about 16 pounds of air in the tire. I might need a little more.
Yeah, probably.
But I can drive the car anywhere. You know, everything in the car and the powertrain I have not changed. This year, if I think I can squeak to 150, if I can get out of the hole better, maybe the suspension will help me. I will have to put a chute on the car. If I port it, I got a couple more pulley sizes. I may be able to squeak out like a mid-8 out of the car.
Hey, whoa. We're going from 970s to 8s?
No, like I'd be able, that's like max effort, everything goes right, shed some weight. That would be like the max I could do with the blower.
Yeah.
Now it's incredible what these stock engines will do.
It's stock
Putting
trans.
air to them.
Stock trans.
But that's why I wanted to ask, do you have a converter in it yet?
Stock
In the
converter.
stock torque converter.
Stock torque converter.
Stock transmission.
Stock transmission.
Stock engine.
Stock engine. Haven't touched anything. I did
Blower, fuel.
I did billet oil pump gears when they were doing the blower.
Now what about the rear end? Is that
stock differential, 315 gears. That's the
Wow.
pumpkin that came with the car. I haven't changed anything with that. It does have a QA1 carbon fiber drive shaft, one piece.
okay?
I
What
just
about axles? Are axles
I have
upgraded?
the DSS 800 horse axles, which are known to break at stock power. And I've luckily, I think with the auto, I haven't really put a beating on the car
you
until
don't
just
have
recently.
A converter in it.
No converter,
Yeah.
so it's not leaving super hard.
I mean, what's your best 60 foot? Like 1.6?
No, I hit a 152.
1.5?
I hit a 152 when I hit my PB.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean,
So what's your goal this year then? With this kind of how it sits, maybe pulling it down and porting the blower. Like what are you going to change
I'd like to
this
see.
year? Yeah, because you changed the coilovers from last year.
I got the coilovers. I got drag springs in the car now. I'm doing the bearings. I do
so
have.
that's all new.
Yeah.
I do have a one solid in that big box. I have a solid rear sway bar for drag racing.
Okay.
Right now, the one in the back is adjustable,
Okay.
and I don't. It allows movement. So with this one, there should be no
Should
movement.
hold
It
it a little
straightens up the
stiffer,
rear,
yeah.
and then that's kind of it. So I like to see like bottom 9, like 9.0, 9.1, 9.2 at 150. That's my goal for this year is to hit that 150, hit bottom 9s, not really change anything else with the way the car looks.
And that's a heck of a street car.
Yeah.
Guys, when I was your age, we were talking 12s, 11s, you know.
Yeah.
Now it's 9s for a street car. Bottom 9s.
Bottom
Bottom
nines.
9s.
That would be my goal. I know it's a lot harder than it looks.
You learned that last year.
There's one thing
yeah.
I can say is
Don't
you
get
know-
discouraged when your first or second time at the track, you don't run the number that the guys on the internet are running.
Facts.
And you don't know if they're pulling weight out of the car. You don't know if they're taking all their seats out. You don't know if they're putting a bigger pulley on the car after they're running, saying they ran. You don't know.
None of them are being honest.
Yeah,
None of them are
there's
being
no
honest.
honesty.
Very few.
Yeah. Very few.
So for what the car is, I'd love to hit a bottom 9. I know the blower's capable of it. I know the car makes the power. Now it's really weight is my biggest factor, and the factory transmission, the factory torque converter. If I can put a converter in the car, and I can build the trans and put better clutches, billet input and output.
Trans
shafts.
time.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Let's do a wheelie.
Well,
You want to do a wheelie?
I've never been a Mustang guy. I've always been a Chevy guy, but I got to tell you, these new Mustangs are absolutely incredible.
They're
And
impressive.
Jake, you have an unbelievable, phenomenal car here.
Thank
you
you.
really do.
Yeah.
Man, and I squared off with you this year.
Oh, that was fun.
And we were just horsing around.
I'll throw in a little video on it.
Yeah, and I even redlighted because my bump
Yeah,
was
you
too
didn't have
violent.
your bump right.
We struggled with that, and so you took off, and then I hammered it, and I walked. You jumped me.
I thought
you,
he was gonna
You beat
come
me
like,
out of the
"This is
hole.
bad."
I walked your dog half
Yeah.
track.
To like the 8th.
Oh my gosh! And after the 8th, this thing got legs. He went around me and won the race. But an amazing car, Jake. I
Thanks.
absolutely love it, man. And I love hanging out with you. I'm glad you come to the track with us. It's been a blast.
Recently, I consider like this our crew. We go to the track together. They don't, you know, they're not Ford guys. I'm not a Chevy guy, but the environment, you know, it's cool watching Brandon do a pass, and then this guy is self-made. He tuned his own car. He did all the stuff to his car. He's helping his dad. Mark's probably one of the best mechanics I know. He did it for years, so they know what they're doing. And that's really cool, you know.
Well,
yeah,
I love it. I love it. I love hanging out with you at the track. It's a little bit of a different world for me.
Yeah.
I'm learning here, even at my age, and it's really respectable. I love it.
I drive this car to the track. These guys can attest. I drive the car there. I race
how
it.
far
I drive
is it?
home. It's about an hour and 10 minutes for me one way.
Like 60 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if I fill up before I leave, I am getting gas again in Roselawn just to make sure I have enough. And then on the way home, I don't burn a lot of gas racing because you're maybe only doing a couple passes, but probably about halfway home, I'll top it off. One thing I want to say about this car in E85 is I have a bucket in my fuel tank. A lot of them, they just have the pumps free floating in the tank, and they have issues with driving anything under half a tank. If they go to do a pull, the fuel sloshes, and now their pumps are burning up or they don't have fuel.
Oh, I understand that.
I can fix that issue on his car.
Guys with fuel cells probably have problems unless they have a brushless pump or some type of baffling in there to help the fuel.
I don't.
That's why I went with that bucket. Yeah, and a lot of people, you know, everyone four fuel systems, and I went with a little bit more budget friendly one. I did it all myself. I don't know anything about wiring. Don't know anything about fuses and how fuel pump works. And I watched a YouTube video and read their instructions, and I called my tuner, and the car started up on the first rip with the fuel system. I was so excited. But yeah, it's all been done in this garage and with my Harbor Freight tools, and I couldn't be happier.
What's it going to take to put 15-inch wheels on this thing in the straight
axle? If I could. Funny you should ask.
One
whole new knuckle.
I know what's next. I got an old Camaro. None of this stuff makes sense to me.
Very
15s
few
just fit. I don't
very
know.
few Coyote very few S550 guys run 15-inch wheels. You can run it on a Gen 1, a Gen 2, and Gen 3 with S5.
It's more difficult.
Oh, it's that's why you don't see a lot of them that have it on there. So.
All right, let me ask you this. You're a dad.
Yes, sir.
Give us your best dad advice that you have right now for all our watchers, all our viewers.
This is a little more personal to me and my wife's situation. We're blessed with my daughter Mia. She's 2.5 right now. But my best advice would be is to do what I do and get your car done before you have a kid and spend the money, because I will tell you, I got married. We planned our child, and I was throwing money in the car. I was throwing thousands of dollars, you know. I worked my butt off at the mill. I was making good money, and I'm like, I can just buy a car part every week. Baby came, that stopped. If I bought a car part, there was a fight, an argument, you know, there was a conversation with the wife. So my best advice to anybody watching this is, if you're going to have a family and have kids, try to get your car done before you have kids, because now my daughter is like my car as far as she's my priority. My family comes
the
first.
Extra income,
And now it's I'll tell you what though, what I've learned is it's more rewarding now, and it's more exciting to get a car part, because now I can't just go out and buy it. I have to plan it, and it's kind of like you're waiting a kid on Christmas. You're waiting, you know, for my coilovers. I waited 2 years to buy a set, and I kept putting it off because, you know, they're $1,800, and that's a lot of money.
Right.
And that's an example is I couldn't just buy them when I had the money, because the money's for bills, or, you know.
No, family first.
Yep.
Yeah,
family first. These
daycare.
are second. These are down the road.
At the end of the day, it's a hobby.
Yeah.
And it's got to. It can't consume
and,
our lives.
And everybody's always got more money. There's
Yes.
always a guy out there with a faster car and more money than what you have to throw at it. There's always somebody there. So
build what you can build and enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Yeah, have fun with it. Well, man, Jake, awesome car. Awesome talking with you. I've learned so much.
Yeah.
I mean, here we've hung out, and I've learned even so much more about the car. I think it's amazing. And we really appreciate you spending some time with us.
Yeah, it's awesome. I can't wait I'm excited for the MKE event, if you guys are going to do that in spring.
I hope so. Yep.
we'll
Take
see.
it right together.
We'll see what the year brings.
Neighbors gotta love him.
Uh-huh.
Have a neighbor. Now there's someone.
Fires right up.
Oh, I'm a Mustang boy. Oh, I'm a Mustang boy.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh!
Oh no, I get hit up. I got hit up. Oh, B.
Don't forget to love your family and have fun while you're at it.
Goodbye, hoodie. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Go to dadrodgarage.com and get your hoodie and t-shirt.